Hey, Dr. Tom Hansen here. I'm very excited to have some questions to respond to about tapping. Tapping is something that I've really gotten into and just keep getting more and more into. Just this week, today's Tuesday afternoon, I've got a couple new players and I'm coaching individually, and they're major problems. They've got major problems that they're dealing with, in both cases for more than a year, sometimes 2 years since something happened that really got them out of their game. They have some kind of throwing problem, some kind of anxiety, and the tapping isn't just for that. Tapping isn't for just major problems. It's like if there's a gap between where you are and where you want to be, this can help you. It's something to do every day. It's sort of like discovering brushing your teeth. It's like, oh, well, that's a really good idea. There's some really good short and long-term benefits to brushing your teeth. I'm going to stick with it. That to me is like the level of how obvious this is of a thing to do. Question came in, how is this practical in a game situation? Well, I'm not going to have you out there tapping like this. In 10 years, people will do this normally. You'll see this happen, particularly in dugouts, or maybe even out on the field. The coach will come out and to say, "Hey, Johnny," but we're not there yet, so that's okay. I was actually talking with Dave Hilton today, who was played in the 70s in the big leagues, was the #1 overall draft choice back in the day. And he said you pretty much had to sneak away. If you wanted to lift weights, you had to sneak away so that no one saw you. And now look at the way weights are today. The same is going to be happening with this idea of energy and working with the energy of your body through tapping and then other means as well. But that's part of my mission. It's like I'm like an early strength training guy. It's like, hey, you guys, if you work out, you get stronger, and then you can really pop the ball a little bit better. I'm saying the same thing, or it's like, hey, invest in Microsoft here. In the late 70s, it's a really good thing. So you might want to jump on this wagon while you still have some playing time left, or still have some coaching time left. How is this practical in a game situation? You really do most of the work of the tapping before you ever get to the ballpark, before you ever step on the field. We're looking to clear out issues, things beliefs that you have that will keep you from being free. Really, the goal is freedom of an energy flow. When you're really going well, there's a real freedom to you, and when you're going poorly, there's a constriction to you. And so we want to open that up. And the constriction is caused by a perception of threat. Like you're seeing something as seeing the game, or seeing this next at bat, or this next outing on the mound as a threat to your well-being. Probably not to your physical safety, but your mind doesn't distinguish between a physical threat and an emotional one. And so you're feeling some kind of threat and need to move it away. Now the tapping can help move away the current feelings right before a game and put them more under control. But the real work is to go down and just like, well, why am I perceiving this as a threat anyway? I'm playing this for fun. It should be fun. Why is it? What in my belief system is going on that I'm seeing this as a problem? The tapping can clear that out, where talking about it can't, because talking is going to access your big brain up here, but the issues that get in our way, the fight or flight, the nervousness, the fear that stops virtually every player from playing to his or her potential, is from here on down and on into the cells of the body. So it's but there are ways to. So most of the work is done before a game time, but there are ways to do it where it's in stealth mode, where no one knows that you're doing it. And I teach those in my program, so that there's people out there tapping that you have no idea they're doing it, because they're doing it in stealth mode. So you don't have to worry about, it's like, well, I'm not going to sit out there and go like this. So is this for pre or post game situations? Yes, both. For pre-game, again, helping you clear out and get ready. Again, if you just think of it in terms of energy flow and expansion and freedom, and like, whew, man, I'm totally free to just let it fly. And constriction, or contraction, where, oh, no, I hope I'm okay, versus I'm going to dominate. It's just two different energies. So you use it before the game to help get like this, get the stuff out of the way that's in the way, and then post-game to clear it out because something probably didn't go so well, and now you can tap to clear it out so it's not building up. It's like the crud, the bad experiences of, say, a hitter goes 0 for 4. It's like, dang it. Now next time they come, they're a little bit contracted. Doggone it. And now the next, okay, I'm not going 0 for 4 again. And then it's just... Well, with the tapping, you can help clear that out. So the 0 for 4, you can clear it out. So you come in with that fresh slate. You actually do that in a game. You don't come up 0 for 6 or 0 for 8 for your first at bat. You're 0 for 0. So you need to come in that way emotionally and physically. But you can also tap it in and learn to generate the confidence so that you feel like you're coming in 3 for 3. That's really what we're playing for. But I'll go into that in the book. I'm writing a book right now about this that will be coming out in the next few weeks. And I have a whole course. My 201 course deals with this. It just seems to take too long. It's interesting because it's actually a pretty fast thing. If you listen to that recording I did with Dan, he had an issue there or something. We don't even know what it was. Something bad happened to him that was really bad, to like a 7 or 8 when he thought about it. And within 5 minutes, it was down to a 0 and gone. So I don't think that's too long for that type of thing. So it all depends. It's all relative, I guess, of what you're asking for. But to me, it's lightning fast and much more powerful than anything that I could do by talking to somebody or even just having them breathe. Funny thing, gets interesting. I was listening to this, and my number probably increased above 10. Meaning that he was thinking about the event, and then say it was like a 6 on anxiety, like a tightness in my chest. As I think about this event in my past that really is upsetting to me, I think about it, comes up to a 6. And then as we tapped and went through it, it went up to a 10 or over a 10, he says. Well, it's actually really cool that happens. It's not like there's something wrong. All we're doing is tapping and telling the truth. I'm not even having you make up anything worse than it was. You're tapping and telling the truth, so it's already there. So it's like that elephant in the room. It's like somebody should say something about it. It's sitting there, and this is what people do. People do. I'm going to make a video. I got a little prop that I'll do here, but just not in this video. That's like, you can't take something really bad and put positive thinking on it, like ice cream on something really foul, and think that makes a really nice dessert. You have to deal with what's actually there. And the fact that you went from a 6 to over a 10 means that you were dealing with the issue that was here, that was a 6, and as that went away, here was something bigger behind it that came up, and that you really got in touch with it. So now you really tap on this and look to bring this down. So understandable that you'd freak out about that, but in my world as the coach, that's a really awesome thing, because you have something, it's so powerful that it was even hidden. You didn't even want to deal with it right up front, but you remove this, and now here's the big mother load, and now we tap on that to remove that, and it'll give you a much greater sense of freedom. I just try to let things go and try to focus on what I need to do. Excellent. That's an excellent thing to do. And it's sort of like if you're playing with a backpack on. If you played with a big school backpack with a bunch of books in it, you could go out and play. My coaching would be, or this guy's coaching certainly would be, hey man, just focus and play anyway. Just go ahead and play great. And that's exactly what there is to do if you can't take off the backpack. Just focus and do the best you can. Try and forget it. Well, it's still there. It's still going to be hanging there. You've got this backpack on. And yes, just focus and play and let it go. But wouldn't it be cool if you could take the backpack off? Would you take it off if you could? And I'm telling you that through this approach, you can take the backpack off that you're carrying around so that you're all of a sudden freed up and ready to go. So, when I struggled throwing back to the pitcher, former Yipper, I was thinking too much about the throw and was afraid I would mess up. Right, absolutely. But you talk to someone who's got the yips and say, "Hey, man, just forget about it and focus on the spot and throw it." They they want to do this or something else to you because they can't do it. They would if they could, but they can't. It's not a cognitive problem. It's from here down, and some people are able to tough it out. But I'd be willing to bet that this guy still has this lingering in the background, and it still pulls at him some. It's a little bit of a backpack that this guy's got on. I feel like this webcast is going to mess me up, which I find funny. I'm glad he finds it funny, but it makes perfect sense from his perspective, and that's why I wanted to take this time to go through all this, because it was some really real and genius questions that came from someone actually doing it rather than just looking at it from the outside. And so I'm saying that the things that he's running into and the things that you'll run into in terms of issues like, oh, I don't want to kind of dig up my past, well, they're there. If you go back and you think about something like a time you struck out against Fargo, like I did as a Legion player at a bad time, if it doesn't kick up any emotions, then it has no hold on you. If you go back to it and it's like, oh, I think about that, and oh man, your chest tightens and your stomach goes into a knot, you're not free. There's no freedom there, because that is lingering there like an open wound. It's like you have an open wound. I'm looking to see if I have any to show you, but I'm sure you're familiar with the wounds when they're open, because then you just touch it. It's like, oh, here's a good scar. Like if it's all healed, but when it wasn't healed, if I went like that, it would really hurt. And that's if you go back and you think about something in your past and it generates a real negative emotion, it hasn't healed, and it's a backpack. It's a book in your backpack that you could enjoy more personal freedom for and enjoyment, and if you would get rid of it. So if it feels like it makes you a little bit worse, that's awesome. You're stirring the pot and you're getting at stuff that's really there. You're not going to just make it up. Your body isn't making it up. It's just you're experiencing it. So there you go. I'm going to cut myself off. But I'm telling you, what strength training was where it was in the early 70s, this energy psychology, this looking at the game through the eyes of energy, is today. And you can choose whether you want to stay in the old times and go with what's there. Hey, Babe Ruth didn't tap, so why should I? That's absolutely fine. If you want what I certainly consider, after over 20 years in the field, after getting a PhD in sports psychology from the best sports psychology program in the country, University of Virginia, at least it was at the time I was there, and 7 years of it as a head college coach, self-help junkie, always looking for the edge. This is here when everything else I've come across is here. This is the thing for you. So dive into the 201 program. And right now, as I'm recording this, I have a deal of $7. Gets you rocking and rolling. And then you can even get your money back. If you go in and do all the course, all the programs as prescribed for the month that you get, and you still want your money back, I'll give you $14 back. I'll give you double your money's back if you don't say, that was killer. All right, so I got to go. Thanks. And keep your questions coming, because I know it's out there a little bit, but I'm telling you, you're gonna like it if you really let yourself get into it.